Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the 2020 shortened version of the Crispy Noodle podcast, virtually trying to do this as safe as possible in this weird, wacky, unpredictable year. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us for the ride. I'm Rich Liebig.
I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we are still here to give you some interesting tidbits in sports, entertainment, and odd news. This has definitely been a crazy week. I'm stuck in the Federal Bureau of Control, and I don't know what's going to happen because my building is falling apart.
Oh
And
yeah,
Mike, how are you doing? You're in the wilderness?
I'm in the wilderness. There's a robot dinosaur in the background. The society has fallen, so almost eerily similar to what we're experiencing now.
Yeah, you just need the robot dinosaurs. That's
Yeah,
it.
just shh, don't bring the wrath of 2020 down on us, Rich.
Yeah, because yeah, this has definitely been a year not to tempt fate,
Yeah.
as it seems. We do have some interesting news to get to, but before we get to that, Mike, how you doing? What's new in your world?
I'm good, just hanging in there. I've been watching Umbrella Academy. That's basically it. Watching Umbrella Academy. It's very. Have I told you about Umbrella Academy?
I think maybe briefly.
Briefly, it's kind of like a more stylized, in your face, tongue in cheek version of the X-Men, where there's a group of individuals who have superpowers, and there's this father figure who brings them together to be a crime fighting team. But they're all very dysfunctional, and the story picks up after they've all grown up and they all come back together to try to solve the mystery of their quote unquote father's death. And then it sort of spirals out from there. It weaves mystery and action, a lot of comedy, um, a lot of you'll appreciate the mind bending, time traveling elements to the plot.
Oh,
Yeah, the first season was very good. There's a little bit of a mystery element to it, and the second season is shaping up to be just as good. So,
okay.
highly recommended. Netflix exclusive.
There you go. Check that one out. Actually, while we're on the topic of Netflix shows, I gotta give you props. I dipped my toes into Shit's Creek or
Schitt's
whatever.
Creek. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How'd you like it?
I like
Good,
it.
right?
I like it. That's a great show. I think Eugene Levy and Dan Levy are really hilarious. And Catherine O'Hara too.
Oh man,
I was like, she looks familiar. Where is she from? And I was like, oh my god, that's the mom from Home Alone.
she is so funny in that show. Have you
Yeah,
gotten to the wig wall yet?
yeah, the wig wall. Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
so good.
It's very good. Me and Rachel, we finished the first season,
Okay.
so we're moving right along with binge watching it. So
The fact that you enjoyed the first season is very good because it only gets better from there. I know the sixth season was nominated for several different Emmys. So it only keeps getting better and better as you go along. The first season was actually one of my least favorite. So it you're in for a treat.
yeah, that sometimes that happens with a TV show. You have to have, or even like a movie franchise. Like the first movie, you need just to like establish the characters, but in of itself, it's kind of normal,
It's very
average
basic,
quality.
yeah. Yeah.
So that happens sometimes. So yeah, I'm glad we gave it a shot. It's definitely our new binge watching show now.
Nice.
So thank you for that recommendation.
Of course.
So there you go. Giving credit where credit is due. I think that's an appropriate handoff to the sports segments that we've got for this week. Here's a quick update that is really interesting to one of the stories that we've been following here on the Crispy Compact Communique. And that is the suspension of some of the college football conferences. The biggest one when it happened was the Big Ten conference. When that got announced, that was shocking for all football fans. I think. I mean, that
Yeah.
was huge. Penn State, Ohio State, all these big schools not having uh, their football season. But now, all of a sudden, it was announced this week that the Big Ten Conference is going to implement very strict medical protocols, and they are going to indeed return to football the weekend of October 23rd, October 24th. And then also in a weird, convenient move, uh, oddly political maybe, uh, President Trump mentioned the fact that he really wanted to see the Big Ten Conference play in a town hall primetime show on ABC News.
He mentioned specifically the Big Ten.
Yes, and
No other college football conference except for the Big Ten.
well, I
Just
think the Big Ten, I think it gets the cake because you're talking about Ohio State, Penn State, like big juggernauts.
okay.
So I mean, that's a
Does
fair
he strike you
reason.
as a college football fan, Rich?
I think he would be a. I think Trump would be a fan of any college that outright gives him an honorary degree.
Is that what he's going for?
Yeah, you
I
know.
think that's what it is.
So interesting twist that Trump mentioned this during this primetime town hall debate, and the following day it was announced that Big Ten would return.
It's very curious that those two things happen back to back.
Yeah. So I guess just general knee jerk reaction to this. I'm a little worried for all the players that are trying to come
I
back for this.
Look, I'm worried too. You know that my position has always been anybody that spent any amount of time on a college campus knows that just regular illnesses, stomach bugs, the flu, pneumonia spreads like wildfire, and you have an incurable pandemic going on, and you're expecting these teams of sometimes 70 plus players to be traveling all over the country, playing against other schools. The students are living on campus, they're going to classes, they're doing their sports, other activities, they're traveling back and forth all the time. It seems much more dangerous than a professional sports league, which can be controlled a little bit better,
Yeah.
because those players, it's their job, they're contractually obligated to do certain things and in certain ways. How can you control a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds and make sure that they're doing everything that they should be doing?
Yeah.
And then multiply that by hundreds of schools.
Yeah. Well, this is this is definitely going to be interesting to watch. Also, if I have my weeks correctly, I believe this gives the Big Ten Conference 8 weeks to put together, maybe 9 weeks, depending on how this falls. 8 or 9 weeks to put together a season. I guess that's enough to declare a conference champion and who would be most likely to contend for
So they're
the
just
national.
shortening it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and who would contend for the national college playoff. But it does seem risky, and I hope that I want to hope that everything works out in the end, and there's a great season, and all these players get to play, and nobody gets sick. But I think it's very naive to think that something isn't going to happen, especially as we're entering flu season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Flu on a college campus is bad. And then you're adding in the fact that we're still in the middle of a pandemic. But also the other, I mean, take the illness part out of it. It could also happen similar to what's happening in the NFL with injuries running rampant because nobody's in game shape.
Well,
You
I
know,
would have to imagine that since they've made this announcement, the teams now have a full month to get ready. I mean,
1 month to get in football shape.
that's better than the NFL. I think the NFL had no preseason.
Yeah. Well, the point is, it seems like a disaster waiting to happen. And it might
Well,
not be. It might not be, but
yeah, we shall see how the Big Ten Conference unfolds with this shortened but still happening season. Speaking of massive disappointments, here
yeah.
come the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh boy. Yeah. If you had your sound clips, this is the one where you would play the wow wow, the sad trumpet sound.
Yeah, I the I've been dreading this.
So the Eagles, I'll take it then. The Eagles officially lost their first game to the placeholder team, Washington football team, 27-17.
The division leading Washington football
Somehow,
team.
somehow the 90s football video game era team is leading the division. Washington
Welcome to
football team.
2020. This is 2020.
So, Rich, just your initial reaction to the game. What are your big takeaways? What worked? What didn't work?
All right. Wow.
What worked? Nothing. No, I kid. Go ahead.
So the injuries have just ravaged this offensive line. The 8 sacks is good is the key thing that you have to remember from this, because that 8 sacks shows you how bad the offensive line ended up being by the end of the game. It shows you the pressure that Carson Wentz was under during this entire game, and then how that led to poor decisions that Carson Wentz made, including 2 boneheaded interceptions that
Yeah,
just crippled the Eagles' momentum, and they were horrible pass choices. Um, he,
it was bad.
Carson has to figure out that not every play he can salvage. There's gonna be
Right.
plays that are doomed from the start, and the catch is with those plays is to minimize the damage, and he doesn't yet. This is his fifth year now, right? Am I getting my math correct? Is it 5?
E 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, fifth year.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Wow, time
So,
flies. This is his 5th year, and he's still not realizing that you can't save every play. There are plays that you need to just throw it out of bounds, or you need to just go down or fall on the ball, or something where you live to fight the next play.
right.
And he hasn't learned that. He has taken 8 sacks in that game. He was pressured, I think, 16 times, if I remember correctly. He's. I said this when the Eagles went on the Super Bowl run, and Carson Wentz got hurt. He's gonna get hurt.
You did say that.
This is not a matter of if. It's gonna be a matter of when.
Well,
He does
we've seen
not.
that
He
every
does.
year.
And look, part of it sounds admirable. You know that he's trying to fight with all of his heart, and he's trying to save every play, and he's trying to come up with spectacular throws and everything like that. But that's only good for emotion and for highlight reels and stuff like that. The best quarterbacks in the game minimize the damage and then capitalize on the opportunities. You look at Aaron Rodgers, you look at those Drew Brees. Those quarterbacks know if the pressure's coming, throw it away, or you got to have an option. You got to get it out of there. Matter of fact, speaking of Drew Brees, the following game we were watching after the Eagles was the Saints Buccaneers game, and they had a great stat that Drew Brees, on average, gets the ball out of the pocket in 2.75 seconds.
One of the fastest releases in the game.
That's something Carson Wentz needs to learn. You got to get, if the pressure's coming down on you that hard, that fast, you got to switch tactics, and you got to do something like that, because he was just holding on the ball too long, trying to save every play. He's risking injury.
Yeah.
It
The so I see a tale of two quarterbacks here, because, as you said, there is admirable aspects of it. You have players like Russell Wilson types who extend plays, play aggressively, and you don't want to take that aggressiveness away. But then on the flip side, you have quarterbacks like, remember, Michael Vick, who
yeah.
would run into sacks, who would run into trouble, who would hold the ball so long, try to make a play, and inevitably lead to fumbles and sacks and making bad decisions because he has a ton of pressure in his face and he's scrambling for his life. So you have to find that balance between that gung ho, aggressive play and letting that be a part of Carson Wentz's game, but also instilling in him proper mechanics and a foundational knowledge of when to be aggressive, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you have the lead 17-0 at one point. You know,
Yeah.
you can start leaning on your run game a little bit. You can start throwing those check down routes. You
Yeah, do
know,
that. Unfortunately, the Eagles don't have a run game in that week 1, because Miles Sanders was hurt,
Miles
and
Sanders hurt, and again, the three injuries on the offensive line, and I know the left tackle goes down, and you want to slide Jason Peters back over to the left side, but it left gaping holes in other parts of the line. You know,
yeah.
so I right now it's just a wait and see thing, because once we start getting players back, we'll see what the Eagles look like at full strength. But this is an interesting game because we've been two ardent Carson Wentz supporters on this podcast
Mm-hmm.
throughout his career. Are we starting to see uh, a new take on things, at least from us? Because I am starting in going into year 5. I'm starting to put a little bit more of it on Carson Wentz now, where before I'd be like, well, it's the coaching, it's the play calling, it's the offensive line, and those things are still true.
Okay, I
But
would.
now the worry is starting to creep in.
All right, I would like to create a line of demarcation for all of Eagles Nation. One of my friends who works at 97.5 The Fanatic had a great post where she timed how long it would take for their morning show on the following Monday after the game. Who was going to mention Nick Foles?
Oh
A
God.
caller called in about an hour and 15 minutes into the show and asked, "Where's Nick Foles? Let's trade for Nick Foles."
No, 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 no. That's not what
No,
I'm saying at all. Yeah.
no, bad, bad Philadelphia, bad,
we
bad.
we never learn. We
Yeah.
never learn.
So don't go that far.
No.
But in terms of healthy criticism, I think there is some to be made on Wentz after this first game. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to where before, I saw a lot of the issues with the offensive line and the bad play calling and the coaching. I think now going into year 5, we need to start. The worry is starting to creep into me. I'm not calling for Nick Foles to come back,
Yeah.
because anybody who thinks that Nick Foles is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz, I mean, yes, he got us the Super Bowl, but for an everyday, you know, every game situation, he was just never quite as, and it's
He's
shown
right now the backup to Trubisky in Chicago. I think
in,
that's your answer.
in every other team he's played for, even the Eagles in the past, he
Yeah.
was, always second or third best.
Yeah.
We'll never forget what he did, but he's not better objectively. But yeah, I got to put this one on Carson Wentz a little bit.
Yeah. There's blame to go around on the offensive line, Carson Wentz, um, and also Jim. Got to give it to Jim Schwartz. 27 unanswered points.
27.
You gotta stop the bleeding. That's
Yeah.
another facet of this that fell apart too. The defense just came apart in the second half. There's a lot of blame to go around after this week 1 loss.
The only bright spot of that defensive performance was the fact that Darius Slay showed up. He was
Yeah.
able to shut down McLaurin. But other than that, they didn't really do anything.
Nope.
They couldn't
They gave
stop
up.
them.
They gave up 2 touchdowns to the backup running back.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? Those turnovers kill you. We had 3 turnovers. So that does put a lot of strain on the defense. But you have to be able to win games without scoring 30 points.
Yeah.
You can't, especially not with our unreliable offense. You can't be like, oh, if we just score enough, it'll absolve all the sins of the other side of the ball. You have to have both of them working in tandem, you know?
Yeah. So unfortunately, Eagles choked away a great opportunity to start the season strong. Instead, they lose to the Washington football team, who somehow now is leading the NFC East, because this is a godforsaken year. And we'll see how things develop next week, week 2. Who's looking forward to it?
Me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, speaking of week 2, I think that's a good transition to our Fantastic Four picks. We go over 4 games that we think is going to be very important in the NFL, and we tell you who we think is going to win those games. Mike, what do we got on the docket?
All right. Well, first up, we have some early favorites struggling. We have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts Sunday at 1:00. Both teams were expected to at least challenge for their divisions. Now both teams sitting at 0-1, staring 0-2 in the face. The Vikings have, of course, the illustrious Kirk Cousins, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, according to no one ever. And the Indianapolis Colts have Phillip Rivers, but he seems to not be getting the job done. Rich, which one of these early favorites will snap their snap their early losing streak and get their first win on the board.
Yeah, the reason why I think this was a good game to pick out was because both of these teams were, expected to challenge for their respective divisions, but also they both lost to division opponents in their first week. So you don't want to fall into an 0-2 hole to start off the season if you're supposed to be challenging for the division. Um, the Colts have a problem. They lost their star running back Marlon Mack,
Mm.
so that's going to hurt them. And also Philip Rivers, I think he's just coming to the end of his career. I mean, he had some decent plays, but he did not look like Philip Rivers of when the Chargers would challenge for the AFC Championship. He looked
Yeah.
like the Philip Rivers of 2019, which wasn't good. It was a lot of interceptions. The Vikings, I think you can kind of forgive their first loss against the Packers
That's a
because
tough matchup.
that was a tough matchup. The Packers literally kept their core group of players together, while the Vikings had to deal with their first game without Stephon Diggs. So I'm going to give the edge to the Vikings in this one. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a big one to keep an eye on for. Neither of these teams want to go 0-2 to start the season.
Yeah. As much as I hate to admit it, the Vikings here, they kept pace at least for the most part with the Packers. The Colts lost to the Jags,
Yeah.
which is never a good look. I mean, regardless of whether you're in the division or not. So just based on these very early season games right now, you have to go with Minnesota because as much as I hate Kirk Cousins and I think he's a terrible quarterback, I think he has more in the tank than Philip Rivers does, as you pointed out. And going down, losing your starting running back, Marlon Mack, that's also going to be tough. So, yeah, just by default, I think we have to go Vikings here.
All right, so there you go. No, the first game there. What's the next one?
Next up, we have a showdown between two powerhouse teams, or maybe former powerhouse teams. The New England Patriots are traveling to Seattle to face off against the Seahawks. This is a Sunday prime time game. Rich, do you think that the Patriots can continue to win against a much tougher Seattle Seahawks team?
Um, this should be a very interesting one to watch. See if Cam Newton's success continues into week two. The Pats are looking to become the new running back, the new run central team of the millennium. But Russell Wilson was kind of the first prototype when it came to that nice balance between a running quarterback and a passing quarterback. Um, and Seattle, I think, probably has a little bit of a better defense. Also, they're going to be home, I think, for this one.
They are.
And again, I like to give a little bit of a slight bonus this year to teams that have maintained same quarterback, same head coach, same essential parts. So I think Seattle gets the edge in this one.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams have been, the epitome of consistency in the NFL for the past decade. Um, but part of that consistency is lost with the Patriots without Tom Brady. So just the fact that Russell Wilson is comfortable with the Seahawks, he has the same coach like you pointed out. Um, they're gonna be comfy at home. It's gonna be tough for the Patriots to travel all the way across the West Coast. Um, yeah, I'm going Seahawks here as well. It's just they're just I think right now they're the better team.
Yeah. I think the
Absolutely.
Patriots need to gel a little bit more before we can
I know
automatically
I know
assume.
they won an early one, but it was against the Dolphins.
Yeah,
So there's still a lot to be seen there about that new bromance between Cam Newton and Bill Belichick.
right.
Next, we have the very first NFL game in Vegas. The New Orleans Saints travel to Las Vegas to
Here it
face off
is. The
against the
the
Raiders.
the $1 billion stadium that's only going to be 10% capacity.
What a way to open up for the home crowds. It's a Monday primetime game. Rich, do the Raiders stand any chance against the high flying Saints?
They could, but here's the problem:
They won't.
The Saints lost Michael Thomas. There, that could be a big factor in this game. Um, but I think in the end, the Saints should still have enough ammo to combat the Raiders. I mean, Kamara and Emmanuel Sanders should carry the leftover work that's going to be left by Thomas not being able to play in this one. Um, I think it'll be a good game to watch on Monday night, though. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but at the same time, Saints should still be able to prevail in this one.
Yeah, there's certain teams you just don't pick against usually, and one of those teams is the Saints. Especially the fact they're going to be in a warm, it's a dome team, it's a dome stadium, right? I mean that's the environment that
It's the $1 billion monstrosity that they
the
can
bill.
do whatever they want.
So they're going to be comfy playing where they are. The only time that I pick against the Saints is if they're playing in inclement weather, but that's not the case here. I think they'll do just fine. Even down Michael Thomas, that's never bothered Drew Brees before. I just don't know. The Raiders, I don't know. I got to see more from them. So it's an easy one for me. I'm going to pick the Saints.
Okay.
And finally, we have our very own hometown team. The Philadelphia Eagles are hosting the LA Rams Sunday at 1 o'clock. Rich, can the Eagles right the ship? They're getting a few pieces back. Is it enough? It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't think so. Aaron Donald is a beast. And if this offensive line doesn't come together to protect Carson Wentz, it's going to be a long day for the Eagles nation. I just foresee just havoc. They've really this whatever offensive line gets shoved out there. They've got to contain Aaron Donald, or this whole thing blows up. So I think it all comes down to how they contain him. Because otherwise, on the flip side, they are pretty evenly matched. The Rams don't really have a stellar offense in terms of their passing attack. They get a lot of stats, but they don't really punch it in. I know because I have Robert Woods on my fantasy team. So that's kind of like an even. I'll put that as a push. So I think really it comes down to, can they contain Aaron Donald? And right now, Aaron Donald has been playing MVP football. There was short little clips that were going viral on Twitter showing just how he was manhandling the offensive line from last week. So if it's anything like that, I think it's going to be a long day for Carson Wentz and company. So I'm gonna say the Rams probably take this one. They're coming off a win against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
They're looking
this
good.
is this is this is a tough game. The Eagles at home, normally you'd want to give them a slight edge. There's going to be no crowd there. We're usually better at home, but things are different now. We're not going to have the crowd behind us. And that matchup in the trenches is essential. Like you said, Aaron Donald, I know we're getting Lane Johnson back. I know we're getting Miles Sanders back, but is it enough? We just don't know yet, because even though you plug in Lane Johnson on the right side, backups in 2 out of 5 spots.
I guarantee you, they're going to come up with ways to get Aaron Donald to get that little crack he needs to burst through.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as was evidence in the game against the Washington football team, they're really relying on Jalen Reagor to step up and you know play like a starter, but he hasn't really had an offseason as a rookie. So I don't know if the passing game is going to get fixed either. So you have questions along the trenches, which ripple out and affect everything else. The run game, can they control the line of scrimmage to, give Miles Sanders a little bit of room? Can they hold back that rush long enough for Carson Wentz to throw it deep? Because these speedy wide receivers on the outside, they're not going to run a lot of short and intermediate routes. They're trying to hit those home runs. That's why we brought them in. Zach Ertz was non-existent against a bad Washington football team defense. So there's a lot of really big question marks going into week 2. I would really love for the Eagles to turn things around, but they've already had a bad shortened off season. Lots of injuries plaguing the team, questions about the quarterback, questions about the coaching. Man, I've never seen a list of cons so long I'm gonna go with the Eagles. No, I'm kidding. I'm picking the Rams. Are you kidding me?
All right,
It's
so
Rams all the way.
there you go. Our fantastic four picks for week number 2 of the NFL season. Hopefully, we're wrong, and the Eagles prove us all insanely wrong, and they
Well, we were
answer
wrong
back.
last week, so maybe we'll be wrong again this week.
Hey, that'll be good. We just always pick against the Eagles if that happens.
I'm pretty sure we've done that in years
We've
past,
done
Rich.
that. We've done that. I've done that before.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad when you can make football picks that way.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of talking about all this depressing news, Rich. We got to talk about something positive, something fun. So let's get into entertainment, where there was some really big news with one of our favorite video game brands. PlayStation had another showcase this week with more details about the PlayStation 5. And oh man, this is the one that I think sealed the deal for a lot of gamers out there. Sony officially announcing release date and price, and also a few other surprises. So let's dive into it. The PlayStation 5 officially launches on November 12th for $500 for the disc version of the console and $400 for the digital version of the console. Pre-orders are going up across the globe. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, you can probably pre-order depending on where you live. But Rich, I want to get your initial gut reaction to the release date and the price point. What do you think about the 500 and the 400?
Um. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because what was Microsoft? Microsoft was around that same price point.
500 and 300, but the $300 console is not as powerful. It's like a
Right.
half step between the Xbox One and the Series X.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty much on point with Microsoft. Um. Yeah, it's one of those things where it builds up some great anticipation for those that are Uber fans of the brand. But yeah, this is gonna be one of those. Probably gonna have to save some money and work towards that before I can even think about pre-ordering this one. But it does look cool.
Yeah. I actually have to say I'm kind of pleased with the price because in my mind, and I've been saying this all along, I was worried that they were going to be $600 for the disc-based version just because of the custom hard drive. So part of me thinks they probably dropped the price to be more in line with the Series X. And Sony would not want to release another console at $600. That would have been suicide for them.
Yeah.
It's a bit pricier. I mean, we got really used to the previous generation of, $400 for the PlayStation 4, and everybody was, so shocked and surprised, and it worked out so well for Sony. But this is the reality of the thing. When you have new tech, better tech, it's going to be, more expensive. So I'm happy that they kept it reasonably priced. I really think the very alluring option here is the $400 digital version. It's no secret that the Xbox and the PlayStation both want to drive users to buying digitally since it makes them more money. So by pricing their digital consoles really competitively, the big thing here is that $400 gets you the same exact hardware as the disc-based version. So they're not compromising anything in terms of power or capability. Whereas on the Xbox side of things, you're actually getting a less powerful console for the cheaper price point. Um, and I get Microsoft's game here. They want to capture those parents walking into GameStop. I need the new Nintendo, not knowing that there's, not
every
just Nintendo
every
anymore.
every video game system's a
It's
Nintendo.
just a Nintendo. That's right. Every parent, it's just I need the Nintendo. So Xbox is trying to capture that crowd. Um, Gamers who are serious about games and are a little bit more well versed, their best bet here is the $400 digital version. But I like the fact that between the two of them, you get a console at every price point. You
Yeah,
know,
a working console.
Right, and that's a big win for gamers in general because you have the Series S at 300, you have the digital PlayStation at 400, and then you have both of the high-end consoles at 500. So you have, a good variety, a good number of selections that gamers of all, levels of diehardness can find a console that works for them. So it's a win for gamers, I think, having consoles priced across the spectrum. Um, but they also showed off some really cool games in the showcase. We had got our first glimpse of the Harry Potter universe RPG, Hogwarts Legacy, I believe is the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
wow.
that one is very interesting. I like the fact that they're completely setting this in a universe without Harry Potter. I think if I remember, it takes place in the 1800s or something like that.
1800s, yeah.
So it's definitely not any tie-in to anything with Harry Potter, but it's its own thing, which I
Yeah.
like.
I really love the opportunity for them to explore that world more and
Yeah.
an era that we haven't seen. This, I don't know if you remember, this leaked like a year and a half ago, the rumors of this game.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Um, and since that point, I know that I've been excited to see more about it. I know people online have been excited to see more about it, but it just seems so interesting. You get to, play as your own character in Hogwarts and, make your own story. So yeah, I like the idea of distancing from the Harry Potter stories. We're going to get to explore and do things that haven't been touched upon before in the Harry Potter lore. So I'm really excited to see that. And also, my girlfriend is really excited for it as well. And she's like,
Mine will be as well.
yeah, exactly. And
this
I knew.
this might be one of the things that they are going to actually play, and we're just going to, like, I don't know,
So
do the dishes or something.
she actually said, I'm gonna buy the game, and you will be allowed to play it after I play it.
Oh,
I
and you
said,
will be
okay.
allowed.
I said, okay. I
Oh,
said, no,
wow.
that's fine because anything you can do to get them interested in video games is a win, right, Rich?
Yeah. But wow, that was some harsh language. You will be
Yeah,
allowed.
yeah, I know.
Damn.
So,
You gonna buy the system too?
right?
Yeah.
But no, so for all you guys out there looking for a video game to get people interested into the gaming hobby, this might be the perfect opportunity. Everybody loves Harry Potter, you
Yeah.
know, so and a chance to live in that world and create your own character in that world and explore parts of it that haven't been explored before. I mean, it sounds thrilling. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. But probably bigger than that, though, if there's something bigger than that, was the teaser at the end of the showcase for PlayStation fans. Ragnarok is coming. The God of War sequel 2021 right around the corner. I mean, just hearing that voice and the music, I was like, oh man, it's happening. Rich, how excited are you for the next chapter?
So I think I said this when we first were talking about PlayStation 5 details. I'm one of those guys that I'll try and push off buying it. I don't really like to do pre-orders. You
Right.
know, I'm usually one of those guys. I can wait until a price drop or a sale or something like
You're
that.
you're a hashtag patient gamer.
Yeah, but oh, that's tempting. That is very tempting. If oh, I might have to pull the trigger to play the sequel to God of War,
So,
because the first one was the first
uh,
one in this Viking series was so epic and so well done. It won Game of the Year, multiple awards. It's got the pedigree. Um,
one of the best. One of the best.
this is definitely one of those titles that earns the credentials that, okay, I would be willing to buy at full price.
So it's a quote unquote system seller for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what you're saying is Christmas 2021, Rich is going to have a package under the tree for himself
That yeah,
with a
Chris,
PlayStation 5 in it.
that would be ideal. Yeah, Christmas 20. Yeah, give me a full year. Wait till the price goes down, and then do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say, 2021 is looking incredible for PlayStation 5. They already have, as you can see, my Zoom background, Horizon Forbidden West coming out in 2021, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. They have the God of War sequel, Ragnarok, coming out in 2021. I mean, this is such a difference between the two console manufacturers. One is like, we have services. Xbox is like, you can play all your games, and you can download games and try them out, and there's the Netflix of games. And Sony's like, we're going to give you brand spanking new games. We're going to keep making these incredible exclusives that you know are just going to be stellar quality. I've never played a PlayStation exclusive that was bad. You know you're always getting a great package.
See, so that's one of the big key selling points with PlayStation. I have a lot of friends that are into PC gaming, and they always say, Rich, why don't you just hunker down and get a gaming PC? And to a degree, I do some bits of it on Steam, but I love the Sony exclusives, and God of
Yeah.
War is a big one. They come out with the sequel to God of War in 2021. That's it. I'm in.
Yeah.
I want to get it.
Because I mean, if you don't buy a PlayStation, that means you don't get Uncharted and God of War, Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, um, Spider Man.
So yeah,
Uh,
Spider Man, another big one.
that's coming out this fall. The new Spider Man game. I mean, the list goes. If I were to list all the games, I'd be
I know
here.
Spider Man's a big one for you. I think that's a
Yeah.
console one for you.
There will be a package from Santa Claus under the tree with a PlayStation 5 in it this Christmas.
Is it you or
Yeah,
your girlfriend?
it's me.
Okay. I just
but
want to make sure who has permission on it. I need that in writing. Who's got the permission?
oh, it's gonna be my console.
Okay.
But yeah, it's there's so many system sellers, so many quote unquote system sellers for PlayStation, and for the longest time, I've always said Xbox only has Halo and Gears of War, and Microsoft whiffed by not even being able to say that they can get Halo out on time for launch. So I don't know. Things are looking positive for Sony and PlayStation right now.
Yeah. So there you go. A lot of fantastic news for those that are looking into the future for the next generation of video games. I think it's very exciting. I'm gonna still try and be a patient gamer and hold off as long as I can. But ooh, God of War sequel. That sounds pretty enticing.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. That's our entertainment news for the week. So we do sports, entertainment, and then we've got odd news. We always got to have some nice odd news to close out the show. And Mike, we've got another Florida woman. So Mike, take it away.
Of course we do. Who is this effing guy in Florida? It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yep, Florida, Florida, Florida. Here in the odd
So
news.
this is Florida woman, though.
Yes, Florida.
Not Florida man, Florida woman.
Yeah, you know what? Florida women, man, it's time for them to take a step up to the plate.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, Florida man can do it. Florida woman can as well. Okay, so we've got a very interesting tale about lovely butts.
Okay, they are lovely, but what about them specifically?
No, it's not them. It's her.
Okay,
Can you?
I love the cheese. Is it her name?
Yes, her
Oh,
actual name.
man. Come on.
We're gonna follow the Bleachy tale of lovely butts in this odd
Did you
news
say the
story.
Bleachy tail?
Yep. A
Okay.
a Florida woman named Lovely Butts allegedly doused a relative with bleach and threatened to
Oh.
pistol whip the victim during a confrontation on Monday night. Wow.
Oh my God.
She may be lovely with her butts, but her temper isn't as lovely.
Hold on. How do you spell lovely butt? How do you spell lovely butts? Because
It's how you would expect. LOVELYBUTTS. That is her legal name.
if I Google search, this is not going to come up with her.
That's not, no, but you can try. Go ahead. Give it a shot.
I'm going to try. Go ahead, keep reading while I Google search.
So, according to cops, the 64-year-old Lovely Butts was arrested on a pair of felonies, including aggravated assault, and booked into the county jail. Investigators allege that Lovely Butts threw bleach at her female relative,
Oh,
and then
that's not good.
threatened to pistol whip the woman while holding a firearm in her hand.
You already threw bleach on her.
Yeah.
Why you gotta add? Why do you gotta add to the damage you're doing?
Boy, she was very angry. Don't you dare piss off lovely butts.
And what was the disagreement over?
I don't know. I don't think it says in this report. They just got into a fight.
She was just mad.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to get annoyed about in Florida. So
The fact that they live in Florida.
yeah. So police arrived at the residence around 8 p.m. on Monday. They found the victim, who did smell of bleach, in the front yard. Here you go. They fought over the location of where she put her medication. How dare you misplace my medication?
Yeah, but is that bleach throwing angry? Because that's a pretty high level of anger, bleach throwing level.
Yeah. How dare you hide my... I'm Lovely Butts. I am the Lovely Butts. And you are...
How do you think it gets so lovely with all that medication?
And you are misplacing my precious medication. Yeah, you're going to get bleach to the face and a pistol whip.
Jesus.
Don't you mess with my medication.
I know that that's supposed to be the odd part about it, but I cannot stop thinking about the name.
Yeah.
Was she given that name at birth?
Yeah, right? Like, who? First off, if your last name is Butts, why would you make it worse?
No, they did that on purpose.
Like, don't name if your name is Butts, if your last name is Butts, don't name your kid Harry, don't name your kid Lovely, don't name your kid Ivana. Like, there's certain rules. Just don't do it.
They definitely did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like 100% did. The fact that it's spelled the same way, I thought, like, when you said lovely, okay, I was like, maybe like it's spelled differently.
No.
But no, I looked it up. It's literally how you would spell lovely and how you would spell butts.
Yeah. Luckily the police got there in time, because apparently the victim was starting to lose consciousness due to the bleach.
Oh man.
So good thing they got there and had some medics on scene to take care of her. So she's A-okay.
So where was the medicine though?
Yeah, that was the whole argument.
Did they ever find it? Was the medicine even real?
Yeah, right. This could have all been faked. Officers were able to arrest Butt, and she was released on bond. She was previously convicted of passing bad checks.
Okay.
So there you go. She's got a history of
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. In a further update, cops reported that the victim had been fearful of Lovely Butts after she started additional arguments about urinating in a solo cup located in her room.
Ew. This is just trash.
All right, that's not lovely. Lovely Butts.
That's not lovely at all.
Now you're not lovely. No.
Also, I love that line. She was fearful of lovely butts.
I'm reading the news story.
She's like, oh God, I'm so scared of lovely butts. I prefer hideous butts.
No. It's like the scene in The Simpsons where Smithers he can't look in the strip club.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh no,
I'm afraid of lovely butts.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for that. That person ended up the way that she did because of the name.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of, I've got her mugshot. Do you want to see Lovely Butts?
Of course I do. Is she lovely?
I want you to answer. Do you want to see Lovely Butts?
I want to see lovely butts, yes.
Okay, let me see if I can get this working here. There she is.
I don't know. She doesn't look lovely or like a butt, so I don't know.
Yep, and she's about to fall down the hole in Control.
Yeah.
She's very scared. She's about to fall down this ceiling in the Federal Bureau of Control.
You have way too much fun with your backgrounds.
So there you go. That was her. That was Lovely Butts.
That was lovely. See that? If you get the video version of the podcast, you get to watch some lovely butts.
Yeah, you got to.
Hey, that's advertising right there.
Yeah, we had Lovely Butts here on the Crispy Compact Communiqué.
The announcement, Twitter post and Facebook post should just be tune in to see lovely butts. just that. No context whatsoever. People watch for like an hour and they're like, where the hell are the butts?
Where's the lovely butts?
Where the ass?
We were promised butts.
We were promised butts.
There you go.
Very disappointed.
That's our ad campaign.
Oh, you also have asses, but they look like us.
Yeah, there you go. We're the true butts. But then you also have lovely butts. So there you go. butts for everybody here on the Crispy Compact Communique.
There you go. That's our promise to you, the listeners.
Yeah, there you go.
Butts for everyone.
Congratulations. That's that's the best we can do in 2020. So there you go. That was your odd news story of the week. Okay, before we officially wrap it up, let's do some apocalypse activities. Mike? What do you have to recommend to people to do this following week?
I don't know. I always say that.
Okay.
You know what it is, because I don't have anything left to recommend other than maybe, continue watching terrible Eagles games. Um,
Great.
I mean, I don't know. What do you got for apocalypse activities?
So this went viral the past weekend, and me and Rachel sat down and watched it. It's this documentary called "The Social Dilemma" on Netflix. It was really interesting, very thought provoking. It's basically a 90-minute kind of breakdown about how social media is used to try and not only get you addicted, but also how it tries to make you stay addicted.
Interesting.
It's very very thought provoking. It may cause some people to stop using social media. So I don't want to advocate for the end of social media, but it was pretty thought provoking, and I enjoyed it. And a lot of the people that they interviewed were ex Facebook employees, ex Google employees, so it has some credibility to it. And yeah, it came out I think last week on Netflix, so you should be able to find it. And it's only like 90 minutes. It's not too long,
Oh,
so
interesting.
it's a good, it's a
That
good just even like a weeknight you could probably knock it out.
Yeah, it might have to be something to check out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got nothing for apocalypse activities. I still have nothing.
All right, so there you go. Mike has nothing, and I have a thought-provoking documentary. There you go.
It's been weird. Oh, no, that's what I was going to mention. I do have something for apocalypse activities. I'm sorry. I knew I had something. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember it. So, have you ever heard of bug assault?
Bug assault. No.
Right. Okay. So, you're going to love this. This is almost a non news story. You can buy a gun on Amazon that shoots salt.
Oh, the salt gun. Yeah, I know
The
that.
salt gun, yeah.
Yeah.
So, my girlfriend bought one because there's a lot of lantern flies
Yep.
at her apartment.
Yep.
Um, it's amazing, Rich. It's the best thing ever created.
Yeah. You can
Um,
take those bastards down.
it's oddly satisfying to shoot bugs with a salt gun,
Yep.
but I really love the fact that when you go on Amazon, there are camo versions of the gun, and that's the version that's sold out is the camo version. So there's a whole bunch of people in the US buying camo versions of this salt gun to shoot bugs with, living out their, you know, military fantasies
There you go. Why
in the
not?
safest way possible. But
This is
yeah, so
America. Go ahead. You want a
this is
salt
America.
gun, and you
That
want
really that really is a microcosm of America right there.
you want a salt gun. You want it to be camo. Why not? This is America.
And get it delivered in 2 days from Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's fun. We had a blast with it. This apocalypse activity is something fun that you can do, but it's also helpful for the environment because you're killing lantern flies.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, folks. That's
Also, speaking of the lantern flies, I want to give you credit,
oh
Mike, and our friend Marie,
yeah.
for coming up with that little video. We shared it on the Crispy Noodle Facebook page if you want to check it out. It's a quick 2-minute rundown of just why the spotted lantern flies are so mischievous and they need to be destroyed for the integrity of the environment. Yeah, it was really well done. You were the voiceover, and Marie was the animation. She came up with the Crispy Noodle logo
Yeah.
that you see in the bottom left corner. This
I,
direction.
I mean,
And yeah,
Marie is a fantastic artist, and she did such an amazing job with the video. You guys are probably surprised to know that My voice isn't always obnoxious and irritating, only most of the time. So yeah, I had a blast making it, and it came out really well. And hopefully it helps spread awareness because honestly, I had heard of lanternflies for the past several years, but I had never taken notice until the past couple of months. And I feel like a lot of people are in a similar place. So between the video and the bug assault gun, do your part to help eradicate lanternflies as best you can because they're just a pest and a nuisance, and they're just terrible.
Yeah.
They're ugly, disgusting, creepy looking bastards.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah.
Yep. So there you go. A couple things that we've come up with that you can do for the following week with apocalypse activities, and that is our last segment. And we're coming up on the hour, so yes, it is time to start wrapping up this episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the shortened, abridged, crazy 2020 coronavirus version of the Crispy Noodle podcast. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in, whether it's the video form or the audio form. Thank you guys for tuning into our little show that we're still doing in the middle of this crazy year. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you are following us on all the social media stuff. Make sure you make sure you follow us on social media before you watch the documentary I recommended about not using social media.
Yeah, wait, Rich. We're getting mixed messages here, buddy.
Do that first. Give us the like and the follows, and then watch the documentary.
Why don't you tell them where they can find us
Yes.
on all the social medias?
Basically, at the Crispy Noodle, that's Facebook and Twitter, and at the Crispy Noodle Podcast on Instagram.
There you go. You can also subscribe to the channel on YouTube, where you get the video version of the podcast in addition to a whole bunch of other fun videos. But if you want to listen to the audio version of the podcast, you can still do so. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Just search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on the podcast service of your choice.
Yep. We're also now available on various Amazon smart devices.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So give Alexa a shout and have her play the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Yeah.
You can also find us individually on Twitter. You can send in your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, and we'll talk about them. Send us questions, whatever you want. You can find us there. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. You can find us on the Twitter, Instagram, whatever you use to communicate, and let us know any stories you want us to talk about, any topics, or just general comments or tomfoolery. Just send it our way. Let us know. But I think for right now, I think that's going to wrap it up. You got anything else, Mike?
No, just everybody stay happy and healthy out there.
Yep. And also stay warm, because I heard in Philadelphia the temperature is going to drop this weekend. So
Getting chilly. It's better weather.
So yeah, all the people out there that make fun of me for not handling the heat well, guess what? It's coming back now. You better stay warm. But for right now, that'll do it. This has been the Crispy Compact Communiqué and the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That will do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
Later. Bye-bye.